Okay, we're starting. This is it. We've started. We've already started the podcast. The podcast has started. This is how the podcast started. Okay? How do we feel today? How are we doing? How are we doing? How are you doing? How are you doing? Okay, now I'm a little bit bothered because the camera looks a little crooked right now, and if I'm going to have to do some extra work in post, I'm not going to be happy, okay? Now, I already going in was like, you know what? My energy doesn't feel right to start the podcast. That's how I was feeling. It's late on Tuesday. I want to get this out for Wednesday. I want this to be out and fresh and ready. I mean, I worked hard today. I worked really hard today, and my body temperature is up. You know, it's hot outside. It was like 93 degrees today, and then obviously I got a little tan, if you can't notice. So then I had the air on in my room. I had the air blasting to make it a little cold because I can't have the air on while I'm shooting because it's too loud. And then I don't want to start sweating during the episode. And now there's no doubt that that's probably going to happen by the end of the show. Okay, but we've started and I feel good. The levels are up. It's like, well, the levels should always be up, Mike, because I am the only one doing everything. So they don't move. The dials don't move. My voice maybe get louder, but my normal voice, this is it. So it should always be ready to go. From here on out, going forward, this is for you, Michael. The podcast should be ready to go. You shouldn't have to pick up the mic and go, hello, are we good? You shouldn't have to ask those things. But I still will because I like it. I like to do it. It makes me feel good. I think it's a good way to start. Starting is very hard. Starting is hard in anything you do in life, but especially, with the podcast, it's like, okay, how do I want to start it? How do I want to start it? And this is how I started it. I started the podcast like this, okay? Now, that got me thinking it is hard to start a bunch of things. It's hard to start working out. It's hard even doing stand-up when you first get on stage. It's hard to start your routine. You don't go on stage. Some guys can do it, like Brian Regan does it really well. He does it really well. If you don't know who Brian Regan is, you should, because you're watching another comedian right now, so you should at least know who he is. One of the more well-known comedians in our history. If you watch his sets right at the beginning, go watch it. He grabs the mic, goes on stage, and he just is in his jokes. Right away, he's just in it. Like, he'll come on and be like, so I went to the UPS store. You know what I mean? Like, he's just in it. I can't do that. I don't know if it's a flaw yet, or I don't know if that's just like my way of doing stand-up. I'm just kind of like, hey, what's up? How are we doing today? Is everybody good? Like, I just feel like it's too robotic. I wish I could just go right into it. I mean, you could train yourself to, but like for me, it just doesn't, it seems less natural. But the way he does it, it's just brilliant. It's unbelievable. So check that out. But it is hard to start. And even with the podcast, it's hard to start. But now here we are, and we're in a groove. And what are we? We're like three and a half minutes in, and it's like we're starting. We're starting, and the coffee's not kicking in because it's late at night. Water tastes fresh. The water tastes fresh. So that's what's up. And, we got a card ready to go. Wipe our lips because they're a little wet. I seem, I don't know how I seem. I don't know how I'm coming off right now, but, I'm in a good mood. And I feel guilty about being in a good mood right now. I feel guilty about being upbeat and happy. With everything going on in the world, I feel guilty about that. And that's fucked up. I shouldn't, but it's okay that I do feel guilty. Because I feel like I shouldn't be happy right now. With everything going on, I should be a little upset. And I am a little upset. But now that I'm in this groove and I've started the podcast, I feel great right now. I feel good. And I know that some of you are feeling good. You know what's awesome is I'm getting a lot more DMs about people feeling the podcast. That makes me feel good. And I don't know if it's because more people are listening to it or if that my energy changed on the podcast. Again, we talked about this last week. I go, how interesting would it be if I looked at quarantine week 1? It's not the first episode of this podcast. I always have to explain myself on here. I know it's annoying, but not the first episode of this podcast. This podcast has been going on for a minute now, different versions, but now we're settled in. We know what it is now. This is what the fucking podcast is. But from quarantine week 1, who's that, Michael, to here we are doing episode 16, which is basically, that's been 16 weeks, I guess. I mean, there were some episodes, a couple, I did 2 episodes a week a couple times. So maybe we're like 14 weeks in. I don't know exactly. Someone do the fucking math. But I wonder how much of a difference there is from episode 1, quarantine week 1, to this episode. Is my attitude different? Do I look better? I bet you I look better. I'll bet you I look better. I know I look better. I took a before picture and I feel great. I pushed hard today. I pushed really hard today. And I feel great. I like the feeling of being sore. That feels great. Okay. There's a documentary with Arnold Schwarzenegger. Pumping Iron, I believe it's called. See, this is a time when I need some fucking guy behind the screen right now and I go, is it called Pumping Iron? I need that guy. I need someone I could belittle, someone I could talk shit to. I know the perfect person for it. My roommate. He would be great for it. I just got to get to a point where I could pay him money. But my point is, I'm almost positive it's Pumping Iron. In that documentary, he talks about how he loves working out, and he's like, I love work. I'm not even going to try to do it. That's not my strong suit. That's not my lane. But Arnold would be like, I am Arnold. I fucking love working out. See, I told you it's not my lane. I didn't want to do it, but I did it, and now I feel foolish. Doesn't that suck when you do something? And I know I'm going off track. I'll go back to the Pumping Iron thing. Don't worry. But doesn't that suck when you know you're not going to be good at something, or you know you don't want to do something, but you do it anyways, or you try it anyways, and then afterwards you're like, see, I was right. I should have never done it, or I should have never went. I fucking hate that feeling. I hate that. And that's literally what I just did. Not so much, not as bad as I've done before with other things, because it's still silly to try to do the accent, even though I know I can't do it. But I did that a lot growing up. Don't worry, I haven't forgot about the Pumping Iron, which I would be reminded of by my roommate if he was working for me. But I remember growing up, maybe in my early 20s, even into my late 20s, there were so many times I did stuff that I didn't want to do because I didn't want to miss out, which is fucking stupid. That's such a stupid thing. It's called FOMO, right? Feeling of missing out. Now, FOMO, feeling of missing out, you could have that and it be like genuine, like, okay, well, I am missing out and I did want to do that. But there are times where you don't want to do something, but you do it because you feel like you might miss out. Maybe that's why. I don't know. But I would do that a lot. Growing up. I would do that in college. I remember in college, sometimes we were like, oh, we're going out here. We're going to Chubby's tonight. There was a fucking a club in Tallahassee at FSU. We're going to Chubby's. Okay, we're going to Chubby's. Or maybe we're going to day drink at Potbelly's in the day. Okay? We're going to day drink at Potbelly's. Maybe that's what we're going to do. Okay? So, I wasn't really in the mood, but I went because that's what everyone else was doing, and I didn't want to just be at home alone. Because I wasn't comfortable enough with myself to be able to be like, no, I'll be fine if I'm by myself. That's so stupid, that feeling. That's kind of similar to the whole whatever I was talking about. So anyways, back to the pumping iron. He would be like, I fucking love working out. And he'd be like, I feel like I'm going to come. Like it's as good as coming for me. Something like that. Don't quote me. But he would talk about, he's like, working out is coming for me. That's how good it feels. I know what he's talking about. I know exactly what he's talking about. Kind of. I feel great right now. I feel so good. I feel like I'm laying down and I'm just getting a good suck, right? That's what it feels like right now. Sorry, Mom. I just feel good. You know what I mean? I feel really good that I'm just kind of laying down and, I'm just relaxed. I got my babe taking care of me. I don't have one, but if I did, she's taking care of me. And I'm just relaxed and I'm thinking about numbers or stats from like the 90s about some fucking basketball player or some shit. I do that, by the way. Here I am going to go off again. Sometimes I'll be up late at night in my bed. I'll be laying in bed and I'll start thinking about like the playoffs in the 90s in basketball or even football or baseball. And I'll think of a player and I'll be like, oh, he had a good run. And then I get so curious that I look up that player's stats. I'm like, oh, shit, he did have that. And then I'll see another player and I'm like, oh, man, fucking Larry Walker had a good run too. Like Larry Walker, I believe he's a finalist as a Hall of Famer in baseball. But like, I don't think a lot of people know who he is, but he had a good run. You know what I mean? Like I'll get obsessed with numbers and stats. I'll think about it with basketball, football, or baseball. And I'll stay up all night and I'll think all of a sudden I'll be like, it's 4 a.m. just thinking about numbers. So that's where that reference came from. But anyways, I'm laying down and I'm getting taken care of from my babe. Just feeling good. That's how I feel right now. My body feels sore, but not a bad sore. Like it feels good. I feel like I did good work. I feel like there's nothing I can't do. I feel like I've learned how to manipulate my brain. I love playing the keyboard. I love learning. There's 3 songs I like. I play them every day. The working out every day and running. I just feel hard. I feel hard. I feel tight. It's been over 21 days. And I feel amazing. I feel great. I feel like I'm standing solid. I feel like it's harder to push me over right now. Take a push. Take a push. I'm not falling over. I'm not falling over. Now, I'm not going to go political this week. I know last week we did a little bit. We didn't really go that political. Again, I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about. But since we're talking about the feeling and how I feel great, I put up a post, one of my podcast clips on the Takeover pod on Instagram. Someone commented the 2190 rule. I'm going to sit up for this. The 2190 rule. I had never heard about this. Never in my life. Someone put 2190. I go, what the fuck is this? With an arm little strengthening. 2190. I looked it up. Should I read it to you? I should read it to you so that I have the exact verbiage of it. But here we go. 2190 rule. It comes up. It's already one of the top things when you type in 2190. Here it is. And I posted it on my Instagram story, so maybe you saw it. But this is fascinating to me, and this is why I'm a simple guy. Sometimes I think about how this podcast should be called the Simple Man Podcast. The Simple Guy or something like that. Because I really am. I'm a simple guy. Because I get excited for shit like this. Okay? The 2190 rule states that if it takes 21 days to make a habit, the 2190 rule states that it takes 21 days to make a habit and 90 days to make it a permanent lifestyle change. Commit to your goal for 21 days and it will become a habit. Commit to your goal for 90 days and it will become a part of your lifestyle. How does that not fuck with you right now if I say that out loud? I mean, when you're saying anything, it's out loud. But as I say it, like just that last line, commit to your goal for 21 days. That's not that hard. It's not easy, but I did it. I'm on day 22, okay? For 21 days, bam, keyboard, writing, meditating, working out, running, not eating late. I'll tell you what. It's a habit. Like I think about working out all the time. Like I can't wait to work out tomorrow. I never in my life ever had that feeling. Even when I was like, there were times when I was like working out hard for a while. Like I would have like a good streak of like working out. But it still felt like a job. It was just like, I don't want to be doing this. Like, but I'm just doing it because like I have to be healthy. And now I swear to God, I can't wait to work out tomorrow. Like I'm excited to go work out. I'm excited to play the keyboard. The writing thing's still not that excited about. Which is funny. I just like to talk about things more than put the pen to the paper. Which I do both, but like talking about it, riffing, how I'm doing right now, I like writing like that. But that shit's crazy. Not eating late, I can easily do. That was so hard to do for me forever. Now I know that after quarantine is over and I'm working and stuff and I'm on the road, I know I'm gonna eat late. I know there's gonna be nights where I'm eating at 2 a.m. in a hotel room or some shit. That's fine. I know there's gonna be those days, but as long as I am aware of it and I'm present about it, then like when I'm home, I'm diligent with my workouts. It's already, I already feel like my life has changed drastically just from 22 days of doing this. And I know that I've talked about this now for like 2 or 3 weeks in a row, and it might be annoying to some of you or cheesy, and I'm sorry, but it's just that I'm excited about it. And maybe me being excited about it gets you excited or helps you. And dude, I would make fun of people for this shit. I would be like, oh, you know what? Someone who's always positive is just like, come on, be real for a little bit. I still feel that way. I mean, listen, I'll still talk some shit, but I feel different, and I do genuinely, I think that's the word. I do feel like only because recently people have DM'd me and were like, you're inspiring me. I never got those before. I never got those messages. It would be just like, hey, I'm a fan of your comedy, or, oh, that's funny. You know, whatever regular shit, like, ha, or stuff like of comedy. Then I did the 3-part series. Remember the 10 years later? That I got a lot of messages from younger comics. That was cool. Because that's cool. You don't think about it a lot, but like even when I was a 3-year comic, I remember seeing other comics and being like, oh, that's cool. Like that's him or whatever. You don't think that people think of you that way in comedy. But I guess that was cool that like that little part, they don't have a lot of views, but like whoever, there could be some kid in fucking Florida where I'm from who's like, I want to do this, and then he hears that and that inspires him to go. That's kind of cool. So if I was to tell you 3 months ago, if someone was like, or 3 months ago, if I told you, man, I do want to inspire people, I would have been lying. People just like to say that shit. They like to hear themselves say it sometimes. But when I actually get messages today or yesterday or whatever about the working out thing and stuff, and people are like, whoa, you're kind of like inspiring me. I'm honestly like, oh my God, like that's awesome. That's fucking awesome. Because I don't know what exactly, maybe I talked about it, but I don't know exactly what just switched with my brain. I know I talked about doing it for like Wade and stuff, but like it was just maybe something that Kevin Hart said on Rogan, or it was just some shit that I was just like, I always knew about habits. I always knew that habits, your everyday life is a everything you do in life are habits. You have a bunch of good habits and you have a bunch of bad habits. So if you can identify the bad habits, you could game plan on how to get rid of them. If you smoke, that's a bad habit. You could write down a game plan or think about a game plan that would help you quit. You could do it. And will you? I don't know. That's the difference. What other bad habits? Not putting a seatbelt on. Simple. Like there's even things that are so small like that could easily be fixed. All right. And you also hear things like, oh, if you do 15 minutes a day of anything, you'll improve. And you're like, how 15 minutes? That's nothing. It really works. That's what's fucking crazy. It really, like, if I showed you, I don't want to show myself playing the keyboard yet because it's like, I know it's not good enough. But what it was from day one to now, if you would have told me, in like 3 weeks, if you do this every day for 15 minutes, you'll be able to do that, and that. I'd be like, it's going to take longer than that. It doesn't. And then you get excited and you're inspired and you want to keep learning. It's just crazy that like how true this statement is. And then I brought it up to someone the other day and they're like, yo, that's scientific. Like that's just how your brain's a fucking computer. 21 fucking days. Everything's a habit. That's not even halfway to 90 though. That's what's crazy. That's not even a quarter, is it? 20, 40, 68? No. Wow, I'm stupid. Well, I'm not even a quarter way there. I'm not even a quarter way. I'm almost a quarter way to 90 days. So if I do what I've done 3 more times, my life is completely different. Everything will be better. Everything will be better. My relationships with people, with my friends, because of the meditating, relationships with women will be better. I'll be more understanding. I'll be less selfish. I know my flaws. I've identified some of my flaws. Okay? I'll be more open-minded to things. That's one of my weakest flaws. I'm not open-minded to new things. To be specific, like if someone's like, hey, let's go just try this, I'll say yes to stuff like that. But it's more about my ways, okay? And I get that from my father's side. This might sound horrible, what I'm about to say, but I truly believe it. Everybody will be like, my parents are my heroes, right? You hear people say that sometimes. They're like, oh, my mom's my hero. My dad's my hero. Sure. You know what I mean? Like, sure. Like, I mean, not the same way athletes were for me, like looking up to certain athletes. But now, looking back on life, going on to 36 soon, I do appreciate my mom's outlook on life. Like the way she's handled a lot. She's had a lot of things she's dealt with personally in her life, with family, health, everything. She's always had a really good attitude. And I admire that about her, and I like to take that part of her, and I like that. And I see a lot of her in me with her social skills and having a good time and being positive in horrible situations with death, financial shit, relationship stuff. You know what I mean? Like at the end of the day, you just have to be fucking positive. I don't know when, but there's been times early on in my life where I might have been really upset, and she's like, well, you know, she's not one to put her foot down and yell, but she would be like, you just have to snap out. You just have to be positive. There's no way to teach you or pull you out of this, or like, there's nothing I could do. You just have to fucking have the mental toughness for it. That's what she had. Now, the reason I'm prefacing it with that is because what I'm about to say about my dad. Now, my dad is a very good father, and he's always been there for me. And, you know, there's been times when we didn't get along very well, but like he's worked hard. Looking back now, like everything he did was for his family. So he's a very good family man. But some of his flaws are very close-minded, doesn't want to do things that he doesn't want to do. He can be negative, a negative guy. You know, a realist too when it comes to dreams and stuff like this. Like, you know, the idea of, you know, like he said to me when I was a younger kid, he was just like, hey, you know, when I was like 13 or something, we were playing and I wanted to be a professional athlete or soccer player. I don't know. He would be like, well, you know, you have to be realistic and set some other, you know, and think about other things that are possibility and like how to make a living, because he's like, you know, at your age, I was a better athlete and I didn't make it. So you're clearly not. And now as an adult, that's hilarious. That's so fucking funny to say. I love that he said that because I have that story and I'm going to make that a bit one day because I think that's awesome. But he's not good. You know what he's not good at? Lying, because I know I'm not good at lying. At white lies all day. I could white lie all day. If you don't know what the difference is, white lie is like, hey, Santa's coming tomorrow. You know what I mean? Like, you're lying, but it's not a bad lie. All right, but like, I could be like, I'm hard at lying. Like if a girl. This is something my dad's also bad at. If like a woman walked in the room, she's like, "Hi, do you like my dress?" And I don't like the dress, I can't say, "Yeah, it looks cute." I can't do that. I can't do that. That's a small thing. It's not that big of a deal. But just to give you an idea of like, there's that negativity, a pessimist a little bit. I mean, but I don't want to say a pessimist like because that sounds bad. That he's more of a realist. He's like, well, that's you know, that's not logical. That's unlikely that it would happen. You know what I mean? Like, there's stuff like that. Arguing, I argue a lot too. I have that part of him, but not being able to slow it down and getting heated and getting worked up, and then being impulsive in the decisions when you are heated and you're worked up, which I think is a major flaw. Which is what I would do a lot, but I also would be impulsive with other decisions too, financially, excitement reasons, like just being very impulsive. So I think that he probably was a lot like how I was when I was younger, and then when he got older, he learned that being impulsive is very destructive in your life sometimes. Not horribly, but like depending on what you're choosing to do or not thinking things through. So those things though that were negative about him, I've identified them with him. I see it now, even as an old man. He's 70, 71. Him fighting with my mom or my sister or even me, like I go, I don't want to be like that. I literally say, I don't want to be like him, which sounds fucking awful. To be like, I don't want to be like I do. I want to be I want to be as good as a father as my dad, and I want to be as good as a husband. He was a great husband and a great father. Okay? And he is a smart guy. He's street smarts for sure. Okay? So, but in a way, he's my hero because he showed me his flaws and I was able to identify them early enough in my life that I won't let them affect me the way they affected him. Because there are consequences to the way he's been or acted throughout his whole life. And he'll tell you about them. But I said to myself, I don't want that part of him. So anytime you hear people say, my parents are my heroes, right? You'll hear that all the time. They're my heroes. But there are some things that they don't like about their parents. Everybody has that. Everybody has that. But we all become our parents. We all become our mom, our dad, or or a version of that. You know what I mean? We're part of them. So even if you don't want to, you're never, like, the older you get, like, even when I see my sister, there's so much of my mom and my sister, and there's so much of my dad in it too. And you can't even help it. It's genetics. But because I've identified it, and I'm only 35, this is about the age he was when he had me, I'm recognizing it, and I'm doing things to better my life so that I don't have those same problems he had. And because of that, he is my hero. Because I was able to identify those things. And listen, my mom is not an angel. She probably has flaws too, but I just don't identify them. I mean, they're little things, maybe being a little sensitive, but I don't think they're detrimental to her personality or her life, the way she interacts with people and work. But I think me being able to identify those things with my dad and not wanting to have those flaws as I grow as a human will help me in all aspects of my life. I will be a better stand-up comedian. I will work harder. I will have better relationships with other comedians and other friends. And because of that, I will succeed even more. I will succeed even farther than I ever imagined because I'm changing those things now. That's fucking crazy. That's what I'm saying. So that's what I mean when I say. So I hope that comes across the way I want it to, because like he is my hero. Maybe the thing is, like, the negativity from his side of the family, I'm using that to identify that, and I'm only looking at the negative through them, but I'm getting it out of my life. And removing those flaws will make me be the person that I never thought I had the potential to be. I hope that makes sense. So, going back, and I know I went off on a little segment there, but the 90 days is your lifestyle. That's so exciting to think about. Oh, okay, when I get to day 90, and let me explain this too. When you get to day 90, you're not like, I'm done. I'm done now. What's a new project? It's your lifestyle now. This is how you live your life. That's what's fucking crazy about it. And I'm starting to sweat. Water's good. Water's good for you. I think when you change lifestyle, I mean, I think we all think about it, we talk about it, but like, I never thought I would be in the best shape of my life at 36. I thought it was over. I thought when I was 24, I for sure was. And I used to have like aches. I'd be like sore. I would have like my left leg was hurting and my forearm was hurting before the quarantine so bad. Like I was like, oh, I can't do that certain exercise. If it's like muscle aches and stuff, I've noticed, like, if you just push through it, they go away. I don't even know why. Nothing hurts. It's just sore, and I feel like I'm in the best. I feel the best I've ever felt, to be honest. That was awesome. I really enjoyed talking about what I just talked about. I really enjoyed just talking about what I just talked about. I mean, yeah, I hope that makes sense. But like identifying, listen, we all have flaws. I think if you can identify, and I still do, even after I hit 90 days and my lifestyle's changed and I'm actively practicing different things and I'm still meditating and I'm still working out and running. I'm in great shape. I'm eating better. I'm still going to have a lot of other major flaws. But I have slowed down things. I feel like I've noticed myself arguing less. Even though I feel like it was a couple of weeks ago, I was just talking about how you manipulate people in arguing. But I feel like I've slowed it down and I ask more questions and I try to see it from both sides of the story, especially with everything that's happening on in this world. Because listen, nobody's just saying stuff. This is a good segment into like the thing I was talking about last week about Ryan, my buddy Ryan from high school. Like, he's not posting this stuff because he's like, I want to fucking... Like, my one buddy Justin's like, oh, he's doing it for attention. I don't know if that's true. I don't think he's posting it going like, you know what? Fucking somebody hear me. Somebody hear me. I think he believes it. I think he believes everything he's posting. I think that's just how he is. So why does he believe that? So why don't I educate myself to like why he believes that way? Maybe. Are some people so down far the rabbit hole, there's just like, they're delusional? They could be. But there could be some reasoning to like why they do things a certain way that you don't know about. So, following back from last week, Ryan, my buddy, he was bothering me on Facebook. So I went on his Facebook and I put this paragraph and with all these valid points that I know that most of you would agree with me, regardless of what your political beliefs are, with a video attached to of like Michael Shea's stand-up clip. I don't know if you've seen this circulating, but Michael Shea, he works as a correspondent on SNL. He's one of the correspondents, but he's a great stand-up comedian. I don't know him personally, but I've never watched his special. He has a special on Netflix. I never watched it, but there was this clip going viral about how he had a bit about Black Lives Matter, and this was like 3 years ago. So obviously, it's relevant again, unfortunately. But it's brilliant. It's like Chris Rock level, Chappelle level stand-up bit. It's unbelievable. Like, and Kevin Hart shared it. I think maybe Chris Rock shared it. Like, a lot of big comics shared it. So maybe you did see it. It's fucking unbelievably smart. So I put that bit. So if you haven't seen it, you should probably check it out. Stop the podcast and go see it. But it changed. I mean, the respect I have for him as a comic, I'm like, oh my God, I got to watch this guy do stand-up now. Every time, if he's in the area, I want to watch him do stand-up. Like, he's really good. I really like, I watched the bit and I smiled and I fell in love with his stand-up. I was like, wow, that was really good. So if you haven't seen it, stop the podcast, go watch the bit really quick. It's brilliant. It's brilliant. And if you argue with it, then there's nothing I can say other than you're stupid, because he fucking shuts the door closed with any argument. Okay. So I put that bit on my buddy's wall. I go, just watch this, hear this out. Cause it's explaining every side of the argument that you might have. It hits all the valid points. So I put that up. It was up for about an hour. No, maybe not. Maybe 3 hours, 4 hours. I let it go. He commented back. Long stuff. 1, 2, all these bullet points. I didn't read it. I just saw that once he commented, that's when it hit me. He commented back maybe 3 hours later because we're on a time difference. So he commented back and I was just like, the minute I saw how much he wrote, I was like, what am I doing? I was just like, I fucking lost. Like, why did I do that? Why did I post? When's the last time you posted on someone's wall? Fucking 2007? Why did I do that? So I fucking deleted it. And I text him and I go, yo, I'm sorry. I should have never posted on your wall. If it was really bothering me, I should have just texted you. And I did. And he's like, no problem. And I said, cool. How are things? And then we had a normal conversation. And that was it. We put it behind us. And then I unfollowed him on Facebook because he's still posting shit. But I put that away and I was able to eliminate that from him. And then when I text him, my heart immediately connected back with everything I've known about him and who he is as a person. And I love the guy. I don't see him as much, and I probably won't see him besides when I do shows in Florida. He's not someone like I'm going to hit up to go hang out with when I go back to Florida. But he'll come to a show or something. But I was able to fucking put that aside and realize that, you know what? I shouldn't have done that. And that was so stupid. And I think I went over this a little bit last week, but that we can't let things like this fucking ruin us. And I was wrong, and I should have never posted on his wall. And I deleted it immediately. And then I texted him, and I was just like, wow. I was like, the fact that was able to just dissolve so quickly from me realizing that is unbelievable. That's growth as a human. That's growth for me. Not everybody's going to be like that. But if you hear about it, if you hear about me saying it, think about using that in your life when you've been upset about the way someone believes or thinks or has an opinion. It's so dumb because these opinions that we have that are different are all throughout life besides politics. Okay? I mean, it's with anything. Like, well, I don't like that car. I like this car. Like I got in it. I have a buddy who, I mean, this is the same. It's not the same thing because it's not a bigger issue, but it's similar in the fact that we disagree with everything in life. With other people. Like my buddy, I have a successful friend. I have a few of them. You know that. And he was showing me pictures of a Ferrari. My whole thing is, if you're going to get a Ferrari, if I get to a level where I can buy a Ferrari, I'm going to get I'm getting a dope Ferrari, a fast dope Ferrari, a Spider. Like, I'm getting maybe even a classical, like, 90s one. I'm not going to get a fucking hatchback bullshit one. A 4-seater Ferrari. You don't fucking do that, dude. You don't disrespect the game like that. It's like when Lamborghini has an SUV. You think I'm going to spend money on a Lamborghini and get an SUV? Fuck you. Fuck you. And then that's where I am. I'm back to how I started. But that I can't let go. I can't have different beliefs on that. Maybe if you're so rich you can get 2 Lamborghinis and the SUV Lamborghinis for your wife, fine. But I'm not going to get to a level where I get a Lamborghini and I get a fucking SUV. I'm not going to get to a point where I can get a Porsche and I'm not going to get that SUV Porsche. No. I'm going to get a fucking 911. I'm going to get a 911 Porsche. And then if I have a kid and a wife, she could have the SUV Porsche. But you got to be a man about this. There's no, hey, if I'm getting a sports car, if I'm getting a Porsche, Lamborghini, or Ferrari, there's 2 seats. For me and for whatever girl I'm not going to talk to in the next 2 weeks. That's who it's for. Okay? It's either for me and my one friend that can hang out with me today, but he ain't coming home with me. And that's it. Oh, I have 4 seats? Why? Are we going to Disney World? Are we going to Disney World in a Ferrari? Who's going to Disney World in a Ferrari? Nobody. Why do I have a Ferrari if I live in LA? So I could fucking zoom and zoom around Mulholland Drive. That's the only reason. So I can go on the 101 at 2 a.m. and top it out at 160. So I can get from Hollywood to Thousand Oaks in 3 minutes at 3 a.m. That's why I have a Ferrari. Because I can zoom all over Mulholland Drive. Go around some of those fun little roads. Is that dangerous? Of course it is. But if you're afraid of danger, you don't get a Ferrari. You don't go to fucking Disney World. Hey, oh, you got a Ferrari? It's got 4 seats? Cool. Put your dick inside your butt. That's how I see it. That's how I see it. Oh, you have a Porsche? Yeah, I have a Porsche. Oh, it's an SUV Porsche? Well, you know what? Take a bath and fall asleep. You have a SUV Lamborghini? Wow. Do you have any plastic bags at your house? Wrap it around your head. That's what I think. We're not going to Disney World. I think that's a valid point. Some questions that were asked on my Patreon. If you check out the Patreon if you want. You're not pushed to. Helps in these situations. We got a new one last week. 3 extra episodes a week. Soon to be 4. I mean, not a week, a month. 1 extra episode a week. But you go to patreon.com/the takeover. Just click the link in the Takeover pod on Instagram. It takes you right there. Sometimes I let people ask questions through there, and I'll answer them. When talking about working out, here's my thing about working out. What am I listening to when working out? Because I was actually curious. Like, what do people listen to? Are they listening to podcasts? Do you guys listen to, like, what are you doing right now if you're listening to this podcast? Are you at home? Some of you are watching on YouTube. Great, because the people who are watching out on YouTube get to see this. If you're listening, you have no idea what happened. You have no idea what went down. Maybe I just acted out how to give a blowjob. You have no idea. Did I? Not telling. Maybe tune in. Now, if you're listening, are you driving? I know a lot of people do it commuting to work. There's not a lot of commuting going on right now. Are you listening to it working out? Because when I work out, sometimes there have been times when I've listened to a podcast, but I like music more. I like it, and they're like, well, do you have a certain type of music? No. No certain type of music. We're shuffling all of the songs I have downloaded. And that's how it's going to be. And if I don't like it, then I can just tap on my ear. I change the settings on my AirPods, the right one, next song, left one, previous song. So I like to shuffle. And what's going to happen on that shuffle? There's majority of my Apple Music is going to be Nas, all of his albums, all of Eminem's albums, all of Lil Wayne albums. Those are my 3 guys. And then Kanye and all of Kanye. Those are my 4 guys. My 4 guys, Lil Wayne, Eminem, Nas, and Kanye. That's how it is. And then after that, I have a bunch of random stuff. I'll have the Beatles. I'll have Amy Winehouse. I have Joyner Lucas now. NF. These are certain songs I love. Those 2 albums help me a lot with working out. But I'm shuffling. Sometimes a Beatles song will pop up. Sometimes it will go into Eminem song. Sometimes it will go into Dr. Dre, Chronic 2001. I've done it. Then a random techno song. Then a Coldplay song. I'm not lying. A Moby Dick song. Not Moby Dick. Moby. Just, yeah, Moby. Well, whatever. Then some whatever pop song. Because anytime I have a Shazam playlist where anytime I hear a song I like, I Shazam it. And that's in there too. Just random songs I hear on the radio or from NBA 2K Live. So, just letting you know. That's how I do it. I shuffle. There's no specific playlist or anything like that. Oh my God. I can't believe I forgot about this already. Wow. Nobody remembered either, probably. Nobody remembered this. I know nobody remembered this, but I talked about it last week, that I would talk about it this week. And I think the previous week before that, I said I would talk about it next week. And now here we are. And I haven't spoke about it yet. And now I have to go into it. Now here's the deal. I'm hungry. I'm really hungry, and I want to take a food break. And then I'll come back, and we're going to talk about the pyramid schemes. So that's what's up. I used to think all my exes were crazy, and then I turned 32. I was like, oh, I'm crazy. Like when you're single in your 30s, you realize that you were the problem in a relationship. There's nothing cool about being single. That means everyone I dated was like, no, thank you. I'll go take my chances. My ex realized I was crazy. She broke up with me. 3 weeks later, started dating a professional football player. All right, you win. Good choice. I get it. I'm not even gay and I would date a professional football player. That's awesome. So after I found out I did the only thing I could, I went home and I deleted him off of Madden. I was like, whatever, bro, you can have her. You're just not going to be part of my dynasty. I won like 5 Super Bowls in a row. When she broke up with me, she had a great excuse. She was like, I love you, but I'm not in love with you. I was like, what are you talking about? She's like, there's a difference, stupid. I used to wake up every day and see a future with you, and that was me being in love with you. I don't feel that way anymore, and I think it's time for us to move on, but I'll always love you as a person. I was like, that's like me saying I'm not in debt, but I have debt. Like, I can't walk into a bank and go up to the teller and be like, listen, I got a lot of debt with you, but I'm not in debt with you. She'd be like, what are you talking about? There's a difference, stupid. I used to wake up every day and see a future with you, and that's when I made payments, and that was me being in debt with you. I don't feel that way anymore, and I think it's time for us to move on. So I'm going to stop making payments, but I'll always have debt with you. Thank you, guys. I have a lot of debt. I have so much debt that I deal with. It's a big problem in my life. You know what it is? It's my student loans.
Yeah, so far, biggest mistake of my life, going to college. I would have been better off getting 4 DUIs. I'd be better off financially, and I'd be a better person. You know what makes you stop drinking? 4 DUIs. You know what makes you an alcoholic? $80,000 in student loan debt. I try to pay it off every month. I'm like, here's $300. How much do I owe you guys now? They're like, the same amount. Yo, Sally Mae, what the hell's going on? What are you, the mafia? You just go around collecting money from people? At this point, just break both of my legs. We'll call it even. That would be better. What happened to Michael? Why is he in a wheelchair? What happened to him? I don't know, man. We don't talk about that. Keep your voice down. He's going for his master's. At this rate, I'll never get married. Like, how am I supposed to propose to a girl at a baseball game? Guys like to do it at sporting events. They'll be like, oh, I'll take her to the baseball game, ask her to marry me, and if she says no, I'll just get a hot dog. And I've seen this backfire. I saw a video of a guy proposing to a girl at a baseball game, and he gets down on one knee and proposes to her, and I guess she gets overwhelmed, and she's like, no, I can't. And she runs off, leaving him by himself on the jumbo screen in front of 40,000 fans. Like, you ruined his life. That's so messed up. Why would you do that? Like, just say yes. Like, girls, if a guy proposes to you in public, just say yes. And then when you get in the car on the way home, be like, no. It's that simple. Don't ruin baseball for the guy. But they're like, oh, we had no idea it was a surprise. He's wearing a tie in the bleachers. How is this a surprise? Girls like to make it out like it's a surprise. Like, my buddy took his girlfriend to Hawaii for the weekend. They got a private helicopter ride over volcanoes. It was romantic. There was champagne. He proposed to her. She said yes. She came back. She's like, oh my God, I had no idea. Bullshit! What are you used to, dating a prince? If you really want to surprise a girl, you'll take her to the drive-thru of Wendy's and propose to her. Hey babe, open up the bun. Surprise! You're surprised? Okay, single in my 30s, great. Thank you so much. You gotta have money to date too though, right? You gotta have money. I can't be like, hey, you wanna go do nothing? It's not gonna work. You gotta have money to date because girls wanna feel good about having sex with you. Right? There's no... They're not stupid. Every girl in here knows that the guy she's with wants to bang her. You know, they're not dumb. No girl's ever been on a date with a guy and been like, let's get out of here and go back to your place. And the guy's like, no, we're having such a good conversation. Because they know they can get laid at any point, but that's why you gotta have money so you can distract women with activities so they're not thinking about that. If you're on a date with a girl and she's like, you're just trying to sleep with me, it's because you're not doing enough to distract her. We're trying to Netflix and chill. That's not gonna work. A good date ends with a girl being like, oh my God, I can't believe we just had sex, because she didn't see it coming. Yo, dating is kind of like the NFL free agency. The girls are the athletes, and guys, we're all just trying to sign one to come play with us. That's why the guys with the most money get the best ones. They have the best offers on the table. It makes sense. Right? And that's fine, because I'm the type of guy that's looking for the girl who's been in the game too long and just wants some playing time. I'm not going to get you a ring on your finger, but maybe a couple martinis and an Uber ride home. It's going to be an Uber pool.
Okay. Well, okay. So we're back. I mean, how was the halftime show? Maybe that's what I did. Maybe I put a halftime show in. The first half is done, and there was a halftime show that I found online, and I edited it. I edited. Whoa, that one's hard. So I edited a halftime show, and here we are. We're back, and I'm full. And that was the last meal of the night. And if you're listening to this, it's Wednesday, and this was last night. How about that? And if you're listening to this and it's not Wednesday and it's later on in the week, get on it. Get on top of things. Listen to this on Wednesdays. Or listen to this whenever I put out an episode immediately. My eyes hurt a little bit. I think my contacts are drying out. Here's what I've been doing with the contact situation. Now, usually I order more contacts, but the contact place hasn't been open. But I probably could have just ordered them online. But I have spoke about this before, but I just have my dailies, and they've been lasting for weeks. And I just put them back in solution. You know, the dailies, you don't have to take them out and put them in solution. You just throw them out when you go to bed. Well, I've turned them into my old ways. So, talk about saving money. You know, during the halftime show, I had the air on and I cooled it off a little bit, and I'm still feeling hot because what I ate was just hot. My roommate made it for me because he does nice things for me. He does nice things for me, and I want to make fun of him because he makes dinner. I want to. The old me would make fun of him. The old me would be like, he's such a bitch to make dinner. Like the way he makes dinner. It's the way he does it. The old me would do that. The new me goes, well, I appreciate that. I appreciate that he made me dinner. And, you know, levels are up and we started. Of course levels will be up because we talked about that already. So, where was I? We pretty much got into everything. The last thing we were going to talk about, though, was the pyramid schemes. Now, if you don't know somebody who's been involved in a pyramid scheme, then you're the person. That's what it is. Who of your friends is dumb enough to get involved in this? Now, I don't think I'm a really dumb guy. I talk about how I'm dumb. I play around being dumb. But I do think I know some stuff. But I was dumb after college. These pyramid schemes, even my father would be like, what are you doing? What are you doing? And I still did it. Because I would tell my mom and dad, I'd be like, well, this one is different. They're aware that there's pyramid schemes. And they're aware that they're labeled as a pyramid scheme. But they're not. They're not. They're for the good of bettering people. And it wasn't true. This one was Amway. Now, Amway is still a company. You can go to their website, and I think it's the name of the Orlando Magic basketball stadium, the Amway Center, or something like that. Amway Arena. That would make more sense. Double A's. Fucking moron. So, post-college, I don't have shit going on. I don't know what to do. I'm just like, wait, everybody left college that I was friends with? Why? They're going to go get real jobs and stuff? Why are we doing this? Very sad time for me. I couldn't accept it. And I went to college for 5 years. You know, I made sure. My last semester, I was in fucking 3 classes, 9 hours a week. Sports officiating was one of them. Awesome time. Okay? So here's the deal. I remember hearing about pyramid schemes, and there was a couple. I think I maybe dabbled in one like when I was in college. Like I went to one of the meetings. Most people will meet somebody somehow through a Facebook message at the time. I think that's how I got involved, or at like a party or some shit, right? And you'll be like, yo, you know, if you're open to any ideas, I got, if you're looking for a job, I got something. How about, you come Tuesday, 8 p.m., come here. It's like an hour long. Just check it out. If you like it, you like it. If you don't, no hard feelings. That's what they tell you, right? They're always going to be like, hey, oh, you don't know what you're doing right now? You're just trying to, you're in sales? Okay. Well, why don't you try this out? Just if you don't like it, you leave. If you don't like it, you leave. That's it. No, but just come here. Come hear what they want to say. That's how they do it. Come hear what they want to say. Hey, what are you doing? You're in sales? You're looking for a career? Why don't you come over Tuesday, 9 o'clock? I'm having a few people over my house. I got a little fucking dry erase board. I'm going to talk for about an hour. If you don't like it, go on your way. That's what they say. That's what they do. Go on your way. So, I'm fucking 22, 23, 24, young and dumb, full of cum, and just like, oh, you can make money? Sure, I'll come fucking check it out, And I had been through one of these once before. I know I had went to a meeting or something and was just like, okay, I'm good. Somewhere with a friend or something. I don't really remember. But this one, these people who I met, there was a mutual friend. This is how it's a fucking scam. Because this is when Facebook was kind of relatively new. So there was a mutual friend, so you feel more comfortable with them. And they were really nice. They sent the woman on the men. or you send the men on the women. You charm them. You send the women on the men. Make them feel like, we got a mama's boy. We can get them. And they are nice people. I even looked them up before this episode to see like, oh, how are they? They're not involved anymore. This is 10 years later. But so I met this girl, this lady. She was married to this kid. And this guy that she was married to went to my high school, but he was like my sister's year. So maybe 3 years ahead of me. So he was like, oh yeah, we're acquaintances with my sister or something like that. That was the connection, right? And I was like, oh cool, so you're normal people, right? So I go to the first meeting. I don't remember it. I don't know where it was or when it was, but this is sometime like in 2009. It would have to be 2009 because before I moved to LA. So let's just probably say, I would say the beginning of 2009, okay? So, because I remember telling them, hey, I'm going to move to LA to be a comedian. And they're like, what? Really? Oh, okay, well, good luck. Like, they didn't, like, go against it. They're just like, well, there's people in California. We have groups in California you can keep in touch with. Like, fast forwarding a little bit. But, so, beginning of 2009, I go to the meeting. I meet her. She's so nice. The thing is, the people who are good at it, they're so sweet and nice that going back, did I talk about on this episode, the previous episode, I couldn't say no. I couldn't say no to her, bro. Because like after the first initial meeting, I think the second one was at their house with like 3 other couples that were already involved. They're like, because the scam was, I don't even know how to tell the story. Okay, so Amway was like Amazon before it was Amazon, right? Or I mean, not maybe Amazon was going on, I don't know, but it was like 2009. Amway, you would sign up for Amway, right? So you're a part of the Amway website, okay? Now, you want to get somebody to sign up under your name, right? And then every time they shop under your name, you get like a percentage or something like that. And then if that person signs up other people, then you're getting a piece of their pie and so on, right? That's pretty self-explanatory. Literally a pyramid scheme, okay? So you would just kind of like get people who are involved. So they had their base, right? Whoever they got under was there. So it's this guy and his wife and the people they were influenced by, which was this mailman. This mailman guy, I want to say he was Hispanic. I don't know for sure. Cute, 5'8", nice guy. Really nice guy. Him and his wife were both mailman and mailwoman, okay? They were the ones who got the girl, I'm not going to say their names, the girl and the guy in. All right, they had those 2 people, and I think they had another 2 people. So this mailman and this mail lady, they have like a squad of 4 people under them already. So they're doing well, I guess. And they're doing good. They're good, or whoever's above them is doing something's working. Okay, so with the girl and the guy, there's other people they were talking to, but me, they were really like they believed in me or something. They're like, no, you're so good. This is the guy we need. They would try to make me feel like I was going to be the LeBron James of this thing. You know what I mean? Which I think looking back, that's probably like to help motivate someone. Yes. But also part of like making someone believe in it. Cause you're like, we believe in you. You're going to be the one. Like it was the Matrix or some shit. Right. And she was so sweet. I mean, they were really good people. They're good people. But outside of this, there is an end game. Like they want you to keep doing it. They want you to do well because then they're doing well. I mean, so they are good people. They're not like scamming you out of money. It's not like you're losing. It's just more of like, what is this? Where's the end game for this? This isn't a job. You don't have a salary. There's no health benefits. So anyways, and they were only asking me to like meet with them once a week. So I go to meet with them once a week and they're like, hey, we can set up a showing where you invite all your friends and families. Pyramid schemes always want to get your families involved first, right? Get them shopping on there. And it's kind of brilliant for a company that's starting out, or it wasn't starting out at the time, but like a company that just get all these people to work for them for free for the incentives of being really rich millionaires one day. So, she would be like, we could set up a showing of like different products and people could try out the products. If they like them, then they'll use them and they can go through the website. So they would go to your link, which would be like Michael Lenoci /Amway or some shit like that. I don't remember specifically. Okay. So after a couple of these meetings, I couldn't say no. I'm involved. I'm fucking in it. I'm just like, yeah, you know what? This is fine. And in my head at the time, I was like, well, this is legit though. Like the website has cool things. It just didn't have brand things. Like you could buy shoes on there, but not from Adidas or Nike. It was just like a regular store or some shit like that. There wasn't the coolest thing, but it was a lot of home items like pots and pans and dishes and silverware and maybe like mats for your dining room table. I mean, if you go on Amway right now, there's a ton of shit. It still has so much shit that you can shop, but I don't think you have to like sign up through anyone anymore. I don't know how it works anymore, but they have a ton of shit like bedding and a bunch of shit you can buy. But and there's some big brand names that are associated with the company, but like it's still not as cool as like fucking Amazon. Okay, so I don't remember how many of these meetings were going on, but I was involved pretty heavily. Like I had a couple people signed up under me. Now, I don't know if they were using the website regularly. Now, if this was going on today, it would be way easier because everybody online shops. But they were trying to get ahead of it. They're like, online's the future. And they weren't wrong, right? It was. Everybody shops online. They were even trying to get groceries online. I was like, nobody's going to ever fucking buy groceries online. And it goes on today, not as much, but like, I still want to go to the grocery store to pick out what I'm getting. But as far as like shoes and certain clothes and stuff, it's all online. So they were ahead of the game for sure a little bit. Again, don't quote me on that because I don't know what was going on with Amazon yet. But I don't remember ever shopping online. But I remember telling everyone, and they're like, you're part of a pyramid scheme. I'm like, no, man, this is the future. You're going to shop online. And you're going to go online. You just go to this website. It's got everything you need. You just type in, you log in with my name, and you're shopping through me. So you want people to shop under your name, right? And then so that's how you make money, but also you make money by having other people that have programs under you, and then they go hit their, their community or their fucking whatever that word that I can't think of is right now. Their social group of people that they know. So I don't know, but I would go to these meetings, and I forget what we'd talk about, but a lot of the meetings that you would talk about, and this is at their house, maybe amongst like the smaller group of people, right? Just like how can we expand our business? Like who do we know? Let's talk about it. And it was just like basic, simple shit that anybody can kind of fucking riff off the top of their head and be like, who do you know? Who do you know? Simple business shit. Looking back now, you know more about like even now as a 35-year-old, I'm not in sales, but if comedy ended and I had to get a sales job tomorrow, I would kill it. Like I just understand it just from life. As much as I didn't understand when I was like 23 or 24. So anyways, we're at these meetings, and I liked being around the energy of the people. The energy was good, so that's what made me keep going. But part of me was always like, what the fuck am I doing? The whole time. I was like, what the fuck am I doing? Because I don't want to disappoint him. Because anytime I tried to say no, it was like, well, just, it's only an hour. It's only this. It's just, come on, it'll be fun. We'll have food. It was just like, there was always like, a pressure to like keep going, and I didn't want to disappoint her. She was so sweet. So eventually though, with these small meetings, those were more of a work type environment, but then they're like, yo, you got to meet these people. These people are like gold members, whatever the fucking thing was. It was like gold or purple or whatever diamond member. And you would go meet them at bigger events. Like let's say they had one, at like a convention center in Fort Lauderdale, and there might have been like 3,000 people, right? Like 3,000 people, maybe less. Maybe like there's like 1,000, right? 1,000 people listening to these 10 people talk. And these 10 people are some of the biggest producers for Amway in the Southeast, right? Something like that. They would come, and I went to them one of the times, and you're just sitting there, and it's these couples. Specifically, I remember like maybe a couple in their 50s, and they were like, hey, what's up? We're the Johnsons. And, when we started with the company, it was 2002, and it's now 2009. So they're like, we built our thing, and we worked our way up. And then it would just be them showing pictures of their house, them on vacation, their lifestyle, all these cool different things. And it was like, all I'm doing, looking back now, is just sitting here watching these people just brag about the fucking money they're spending. I was like, what the fuck is this? That was their motivational tactic. They're like, yo, look at all this. Look at that diamond ring. Look at this. This is in a Hawaii in a helicopter. Like, it was like, what the fuck is going on? And we would just sit there and watch that. And they're like, this could all be yours too. It's easy. And they would come out and they'd be like, this could be you. I was just like you. All I did was keep going. I kept going and I kept using my network and I fucking expanded my network and I met more people. And next thing I know, we have a 7-bedroom house in Atlanta. Just a little bit more. You know what I mean? It was like bullshit like that, which was hilarious. But here was the funniest part about this whole situation. Not that, I don't know if this is even entertaining to any of you at all, but the funniest fucking thing about this whole situation was the girl and guy who got me involved. The postman and his wife that got them involved, whose house we would always meet at like once a week. This motherfucker, dude. Oh man, I wish I could find him on Facebook and like see how he's doing. I wish I remember his name. Mario. Maybe it's Mario. I gotta look it up, man. I gotta try to find it, bro. He would be like, "Listen, man. I gotta do, dude." He would be like the motivational speaker for us, and he would be like, you know, we're at his place, and it's like, you know, in a duplex or something. It's not bad. It's fine, but we're in like Coral Springs, okay, where I grew up. Or maybe we're in what fucking North Coral Springs. I don't know, near Parkland or something. It's not like a huge house. Like my house I lived in was better, but it's like middle class. He's He's a postman, and his wife is a post woman or whatever they're called, and he would just be like, look, man, you know, this is my life. Like, I have my wife. I have my wife. We have a great job. We have health. We have the best. You when you work for the government, you have the best benefits. We have the best benefits. We have the best benefits. Best health insurance. I have a pension. I have a pension. My wife has a pension. We have a great life. I want to have kids. I have these dogs. We have this place. We want to get a bigger house. We have all this. We have all this. But all this, it's not what Amway's going to give me. It's not what it's going to give me. He'd be like, what I'm going to do with Amway, I want to leave the post office. And it's like, why would I want to leave the post office? It's great. I have a great career. You could even be a postman. It's a great job. It's one of the best jobs you could have. Pitching me like to be a postman, but then he would be like, but I don't need it because the Amway is going to take me to even a further point. Like, that was his... Just the fucking thought of a motivational postman. It was hilarious to me. Just, dude, he was so energetic. He'd be like, every single week, I'm a postman. I work. I don't work that much. I don't work a lot of hours a week, but I have great health insurance, fully covered. I work for the government. I have a pension, but if I could do this, it could be even better for me. I won't have to be a postman anymore. I like being a postman. Don't get me wrong. I like being a postman. But I want these nicer things too. Why would I even sacrifice it all? I have a good life. I can live like this. This would be fine. But I'm doing it because I see a bigger picture, Michael. And he would just be like this motivational postman. But anyways, that's not even the fucking stupidest thing I did about the fucking pyramid scheme. So now... I fucking got my mom and dad to sign up. They knew it was bullshit, but they just did it because they support me no matter what. Then I had a viewing at my house one time with my friends. Looking back, that's embarrassing. They probably don't remember it. If I brought it up, they would. But she came over with a bunch of products, and we had girls over, and they were all like, "Oh, cool," and they were trying this shit out, and it was just stupid. I was just like, "What? This is dumb." Like I was never really fully behind it. But this is where it gets really dumb, is one day they're like, hey, there's another one of these meetings, and we're going to meet one of these very important people. So like what I explained earlier, maybe 1,000 people listening to fucking 10 people talk about how rich they are, right? They're like, we got to go see this person talk. And I was like, okay, where? It's in Tennessee. Looking back, I don't remember where. I want to say like Chattanooga or Nashville, or it was somewhere in Tennessee. They're like, in Tennessee. I was like, Tennessee? I'm not going to Tennessee. I got like a real job. They're like, no, it's going to be fine. We're going to leave on a Friday afternoon, and, you know, we'll get there Saturday. We're going to leave Friday, and we'll get there late Friday night, and, you know, we have a place for us to stay, and then we're going to drive back Sunday. So, like, I got in this. I didn't want to do it, and she kept pressing, and she's like, come on, it's just a life experience. And I go, you know what? That got me. She got me with that. Oh, whatever. I'll look back on this and be like, oh, that was a good life experience, right? Now I'm fucking looking back on it, and I'm glad I went because I'm going to figure out how to make this a fucking bit. Because this is so stupid that I fucking did this. Because I went in a van with them, one of those white vans, but a bigger one that like 8 of us were in. And like we all drove up to fucking Tennessee from South Florida. What is that? 6, 7, 8, 9. There's we drove 10 hours to fucking Tennessee to go listen to these fucking scam motherfuckers talk about how rich they were. I don't even remember what was that, but the fact that I like did this is knowing I wasn't going to keep doing this anymore. I was in it with another young kid. We were laughing and it was fine. It was probably fun, but like, oh my God, you couldn't pay me $10,000 to drive for 10 hours. Are you kidding me? All the way to Tennessee to hear some fucking people talk about Amway and how they built their network and they fucking have a huge house and then drive back. I'm like, today we could have just done this on Zoom. But I couldn't believe I fucking went that far into a pyramid scheme. I'm deep. This is 6 months later, dude. I'm shopping on Amway. I don't know. Like, I'm not like shopping a lot, but like I asked my mom, she goes like, oh yeah, I spent $100 on there this week. She was doing it just to support me. Like I think I got like, I had certain points. I wonder if I've ever got paid. I think I got paid once or something, but it was just like, I can't believe I got in a fucking van and drove 10 hours, maybe even more, from South Florida to somewhere in fucking Tennessee with a bunch of fucking weirdos that I don't even know today. But I'm friends with 2 of them on Facebook, and I got to find the postman. I mean, how dumb do I have to be? Top 5 dumbest things I've ever done. Get too involved with Amway's pyramid scheme. That's one of them. 3, here's I got 5 of the dumbest things I've ever done in my life, all right? 5 of the dumbest things. Amway's pyramid scheme is one of them. I don't know where they rank, okay? I don't know how I rank these. You guys could rank them for me if you want. But the Amway is for sure one of them, just because I couldn't say fucking no. All right, I did all that bullshit. And then I remember after the whole Amway thing, I was like, I'm going to move to L.A. and start doing comedy. They were like, well, we can put you in touch with our L.A. people. I was like, sure. Finally got out of it when I had to move to get out of this thing. I'll bet you if I didn't leave Florida and do stand-up and I was still working in sales, selling health insurance and shit, and I was with it and I kind of didn't want to be, I would have wound up dead. I think they would have killed me. I think they would have been like, all right, we're losing him. And they would have like cornered me and been like, you're either with us or you're dead. I think they would have killed me. That's why I checked. That's why I went on Facebook. I go, let me find the people who got me involved, see if they're still alive. They are. But she's now a realtor. So eventually she realized, what are we doing? This is a lot of work for nothing. Because at the end of the day, it might have worked for the people in the beginning because they were just starting out. But if there's all these millionaires making money already, you're so low, you're not gonna get. They were in the beginning. They were just the beginners. So anyways, the Amway pyramid scheme for sure, top 5 dumbest things I've ever done. The other ones are. In college, I punched a brick mailbox. That could be number 1. This bone popped out. Punched the brick mailbox, they had to push it back in. That's one of them. Number 3 was I got out of my car. I had an Acura Integra all souped up. We can get into car shit one of these days. Like how big the car fucking community was in South Florida in like the early 2000s. Okay, but I had an Acura Integra. It was all like hooked up. The exhaust tip that I had on there was a little crooked. So I got out of the car and someone was like, oh, it's a little crooked. I was like, oh, I got to get that fixed. I went up and grabbed it and tried to do it with my hands and burnt my fucking fingertips. So that's one of the other dumbest things I've ever done. That's 3. 4th dumbest thing was when I was walking Wade one night and he shit. And I went to go pick up his shit and then forgot where it was, and then I stepped in it. One of the dumbest things I've ever done in my life. Stepping in my own dog shit, touching the exhaust tip of my car after I got out of it, the Amway pyramid scheme, punching a brick mailbox. And the fifth dumbest thing I've ever done in my life would be fucking over unemployment in 2012 and getting caught stealing money from them and owing it back. Actually, I pierced my tongue in high school. Now, that's not as dumb, but that's another one that's crazy. So, I don't know. I mean, I don't know if the pyramid scheme thing is that. I don't know if it was that great of a story. I need more details. I wish I remembered more. It was so long ago. I'll tell you who remembers it. My mom, that's for sure. She fucking had to live through it. So if she's listening to this, she's probably laughing. She's laughing. So she's probably like, oh yeah, he is an idiot. I asked her the other day, I go, you think I'm stupid? She goes, no, I don't think you're stupid. I don't mean it like that. Like it's the things I come up with are sometimes stupid. She's like, no, I think you're very smart. Okay, fine. I kind of enjoy playing it dumb a little bit. But I don't know if you guys have pyramid scheme stuff, like I'd like to hear about it. You could fucking DM me on I'm not going to always see your DMs, but if you DM the Takeover pod, that's a good way to get a hold of me. I will see all of those, okay? There's only a 500 followers or something, so follow that account, the Takeover pod, on Instagram, and DM me with questions or suggestions. And also on that page, there's a link for the Patreon, which you should check out. And then, on Twitter or whatever, just hashtag the Takeover pod. But hey, I'm going to ask you for the favor again. Guys, leave your 5-star reviews. Please, it helps. If you do it, it makes my life better. It makes your life better. Everybody's happy. We all have a good life. And I'm sweating. And I'm sweating because I put in a lot of work today. I did a lot of work, and I hope that we all feel better. Ooh, where am I going to put the music in this week? Where am I going to place the music? Are we enjoying the music when I tell stories? I think it's fun. I think it's a good time. I think we're having a good time. So yeah, I think that is what we're doing. I think we're done, guys. I think we're done this week. I think that fucking Amway story exhausted me, and I'm done. And I've had a lot of fun this week, and let's keep it going. Let's keep our heads up. We're almost out of this fucking quarantine. Most of you guys already are, but that's LA and New York. We're getting back. And I'm doing a show Friday. So if you're in LA and you're listening to this, DM me saying I heard you're doing a show Friday, and I'll tell you the details of the show. I can't tell you yet, but I can't tell a lot of people. There can only be like 15 to 20 audience members. If you're not scared and you want to come and wear a mask, bring your own beer. It's one of those situations. Bring your own drinks. You can come, and I'm doing a show Friday. It's my first time doing stand-up. And it will be like 90 days in. So come check me out. Thanks for listening to the pod. Subscribe on YouTube or whatever. Do whatever the fuck you want. I don't know, man. I'm just here for you guys, and you're here for me. So have a good one. Goodbye.